Hey everyone, welcome to the Gamedev Meetup of February 2022. So we're gonna have a couple of speakers this time, and we're gonna have Richard from Big Bang. He's the co-founder of the company, and I'll just let him talk now.
Hey, thanks for coming to this presentation, everybody. So my name's Rob. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Control Z that make this thing called Big Bang. It's a way to make and play games in a web browser. Most people think about browser games as not being very good. Hopefully we can convince you that that's different today. And often making games for a web browser or distributing them that way can be frustrating. So this is the website, .bigbang.com. I'll put a link in the Meetup channel. If you have any questions, just feel free to put them in the Meetup channel and I'll answer them as we go. But I'll give you a quick overview of what we've got so far and what you can expect from the platform. So this is the main website. It's got kind of a hangout area where people can go and just play. These are all live games, so you can click any of these, and usually within 10 seconds, you can be in a game. So this is a small FPS game. Obviously, here's some other people. I'm not going to do well on my touchpad at shooting them, but we aim to run at 60 frames a second. We aim to be a real legitimate game platform rather than kind of some kind of bad web game thing. And then in addition to playing games, you can also make games. So we have an object creator and we have a world builder. And if you click on the world builder, you can make an FPS game, using the same code and tools that we use to make this game. So, this is the same character controller and the same levels, etc. And then right in here in the web browser, you can hit the edit link, the edit button, and as soon as you're in here, from the player perspective, you can start to edit and move things around. So this is kind of cool. And then the stuff along the bottom is things you can drag in, and then these objects themselves are made in an object creator. So I'm going to jump. Maybe I'll save this. Just save this for later. Let's save this now. We can come back to this. So then on my profile, you can see the games and objects that I've made. I'll show you this in the object creator. So this is kind of the object view for this little thing. This is actually a remix. I'm not that good at making art. So you, as a creator, you can decide whether people can take your things and remix them. And you can see down here, as a small link, it says remix, and I can go back to the original. So this is the original by Adev. You can see the original comments here and people talking about it. Let's go back to the version that I remixed. So here I can hit the edit button again. And now we have a voxel object editor. Again, like, I am not any kind of artist, so I'm going to do some crazy changes here that will probably offend all of the artists' eyes in the crowd. I'm going to take this and I just give this thing a little hat or some kind of thing. And then I can save this. Like so. And this is also, I should point out, it's kind of a frame-based animation system. So it has a little timeline here. And when you press the play button, you're getting this little blink. And I've put a hat only on this frame, so I don't know. There you go. That's my amazing art skills. So we can go back now and let's jump into the little FPS template that we just made. And so I can now take the thing that I just made and I can stick it in my game. So I'm going to hit the edit button again. I'm going to go to mine and grab this thing I just did. At some point, we're going to make it so you can just edit them right here. We have got a prototype of that, but that's That's a little way down the line. So you can scale these things and rotate them and, you know, position them as you like. And then in addition to that, we've got moods. So you can change the post-process of the game to get a different kind of feel. Maybe you want to make a film noir shooter game for some reason. We've got the post-process as well in here, so we can go and change like vignetting or lots of other aspects of the game. I think these are actually we can go yeah, anyway, again, I'm not artistic, so I'm just going to press this button and make it this kind of maybe we'll go with more of a Sonic the Hedgehog look. So yeah, that's mood. We've also got an edit cam, so we can go out and see that terrifyingly the main character in this game doesn't have a head, or at least it does have a head, but it's a camera. And then from this perspective, you know, you can just fly around and select things and do like larger scale changes. We've got group select tools, and then the editor panel on the left shows you some things. So let's jump back to the player. From here, we can also take an object and we can add a script to it. So I'm going to make a new script. Press the wrong button. I'm going to make a new script. And then right here, we've embedded the code editor from Visual Studio Code. So if you use Visual Studio Code, you'll recognize this command palette. You know, I can like format the code. And what we've done is we've embedded TypeScript. So instead, we actually originally used JavaScript, but we found that people made a lot of mistakes, and it was very difficult for them to understand the errors they were being given. So we actually redid everything in TypeScript. We embed the TypeScript compiler. There's no setup there. The theme of the code editor. Yeah, lots of people are asking us about that. What we're going to do is like per user profiles for all of the development tools. So, you know, theming the code editor, you know, anything that's kind of cosmetic in the code editor or any of these tools you'll be able to do. Okay. So in here, we can just do something like this. Entity, world transform, rotation, y plus equals this game. I think it's called time or something. No, it's not called time. Frame delta time. Oh, I put the script on the wrong thing. Okay, I put the script on this. Let's rename this Game Jam Spain. Save. Okay, because I'm going to take the script off this here. Remove this. I'm going to put it on here. Add the script that I just made. Bish bash bosh. Okay, now this person's spinning. This little thing is spinning. So yeah, we've got full autocomplete for the whole API. And then we have like a full docs site. So it's running. Yeah, well, yeah, run like a headless chicken. That's right. What's next? Yeah, we've got full docs. So, you know, for the stuff that I was just doing, like the delta time, let me see frame delta time. So it's like full TypeScript docs here for the full API. And then all of this stuff is also like inline. And then on the docs site, we've also got like some kind of overview articles, like how to think in .Big Bang, how things are structured. And, you know, entity lifecycle, that type of thing, scripting basics. So the other thing that people might have noticed is that all the scripts are called script. So if I look at this one, you know, this one over here has got a damageable script on it. And if I look at this one, they're all called script. So what we're trying to do is set it up so that, you know, code is interoperable across games. So there's kind of two ways we do that. One is we don't put things in the same namespace. And then the other way is that we have an event system, which is turning out to be pretty nice. The way that works is you can send events to entities, and you can also send events to tags. So if you see in this one, I'm not sure how visible it is, but you can see that this box has a tag called DMG events, and then there's a game manager somewhere in here. So yeah, this game manager. And then this game manager is sending out events to that tag. And that means that, to listen to that event and to do stuff, you just need to add the tag to the entity. And that's turning out to be a really nice and flexible pattern. Okay, so I think it's time to add a bit more chaos to this presentation. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to hit this button up here called Share Game. And as soon as I do this, now my post-process changes are in there. Why is this? Let me fix that for a moment. Save. Okay, I'm going to just reload this for 1 second and hope. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the post-process. Okay, so now that I press the share button, this is a multiplayer game. And the link in the URL here, if I share it, should be able to get other people joining. So if I've put it in the Meetup text channel, and the thumbnail's still wrong. But if you click that link, we should be able to see each other. I'm not sure if anyone can see it. Let me wait. Carolis is typing. Oh, there's 2 people in here. Okay, someone else is going to shoot me any moment. Let's meet by this weird orange person that I made. Oh, I see him. There they are. Whee! And I think you can press number keys to do a few little emotes. There you go. So while you people destroy each other, yeah. So if you have an account, if anybody's signed up ahead of time, you can multiplayer edit this. So the editor that I'm showing you here is multiplayer. I can also edit the game while people are playing the game. So now, we've got a bunch of people in here shooting. Obviously, the UI still happens. So there you go. Everything in the game is defined in user script. There's no system level stuff from that perspective. So if I take my player, for example, this player is just a bunch of scripts, just in the same system that we already showed. And that's true for everything on the website. There's nothing kind of custom that you can't change. So for example, the character movement script, like the player controller, it's obviously a more complex script here because player controllers, as you know, end up being pretty messy, but it's only, 300 lines of code or whatever. But this is the whole player controller. And then in terms of those emotes that we're doing, those are also a script in here. Let me find it. DMG emojis. Yeah. So the thing that's spawning the emojis and doing all of that stuff is in here. Again, it's 100 lines of code or whatever. Keyboard input on Firefox. Yeah. So, what is going on with Firefox? That's a great question. Firefox, we tried to go back and forth with them on a bunch of input problems. Unfortunately, Firefox has slipped from 6% of our users to 0.5%. So for us right now, it's difficult for us to dedicate time to try and fix the input problems. And it's definitely got worse in the last 6 months or so. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that, Carolis. And if you have some time, if anybody sees anything that they think we should fix, do you need to have an account to play games? If anybody sees anything weird, if they can take a small video and send it to me, I will follow up with you and see if it is something we can fix. Dan the Man says, do you need to have an account to play games like your game right now? No. So these people who are joining this game right now don't have accounts, right? All of the people who are guests, let me just show them who's boss for a moment. All the people who are guests are just joining, and you can join a game, with no account whatsoever. And so that's really the key thing is we can get people into a game on any device in 10 seconds or whatever in a multiplayer game. And then in terms of why people might want to sign up that are playing your game, I think you can offer some more things to them as a creator for signing up. So at least in this game, you get stats. If you sign up, you can see the stats in the bottom right-hand corner. and you don't get those if you're a guest. But that's up to the creator. Okay, what's next? So let me see if I can there's one change coming that we haven't quite pushed out to production yet, which is the way that you change the player prefab, or we would call it a template. Otherwise, I could have easily changed the gravity here on everyone, but maybe I can do that anyway. Let's see if I can just select everyone. Yeah, let's do this. We want to do this. Show the entity panel, character movement. And let's change the jump height so people jump crazy high. Okay, try jumping. Try jumping, people. Press space. Let's see if we can get it going higher. Okay, I'll do it again. People are getting really into just shooting each other now. I think that's the main thing. Okay, so here we go. Now it's a much more vertical game. Okay. Yeah, so if anybody has an account and they want to log into this game, the link that I sent, you can just edit. We are changing the permission scheme so that you can have a list of people who have the right to edit, but now it's pure chaos. So yeah. Join the DBB Discord to report bugs. Yeah, that's right. Somebody says, if everyone can play for free, how can you monetize it? That's a great question. So, I think one of our goals is to make a system that's a bit like YouTube for games. And I think to do that, there has to be a way to play the games for free. Otherwise, everything's kind of behind a paywall. The two ways that we're thinking of monetizing right now are cosmetics. So, you could make this game and then you could make hats or clothing or cool outfits, and you could optionally sell those. Yeah, I mean, ads is the other way to do it. My feeling on ads is I've personally never played a game platform that was supported by ads that I felt, was really awesome. And I think there's two reasons for that. I think one is ads just don't pay very well. They don't pay the creator very well or the platform. And per game view or whatever, without having to put it in the game all the time, right? So say that you make a game that people love to play, they want to play it for hours. I think you end up in the same situation as Twitch, where you end up having to put ads in the middle of the games or between between rounds in your FPS or whatever. And I think that's just very distracting. So we're going to try and go with cosmetics, so people can make hats or clothing items or whatever, similar to the business model that Fortnite has. And then the other one is just subscriptions. We want to give creators a way to be able to make whatever they want. And I think, a great way to do that is something similar to a Patreon model, where you can subscribe to a creator, pay them every month, or pay them for everything that they create. And then they're free to make whatever they want. So, things like Sock Pop Collective, and Ink Repair, whose name is Stephen Lavelle. These people have Patreons that work that way. Yeah, and that's something we want to explore. So, but yeah, that is so similar to Roblox. So yeah, I think obviously there's comparisons people draw to Roblox. I think the primary difference for us is that you can get in and play instantly. The tools are available to everybody, which, so far we have a lot of people building on Chromebooks, for example. And there are very few tools that work on Chromebooks. And at least in the US, the Chromebook is the main computer that people use in schools, that kids use in schools. So I think that's one thing. But there are a couple of videos that came out on YouTube recently outlining why, the way that Roblox is set up in general is kind of hostile to creators. The percentage of revenue that Roblox take, how that whole system works is very much geared to keeping the money inside of Roblox rather than paying it out. So we are working on being able to announce the revenue model by doing some trials initially, but we're going to be able to offer like a radically different amount of revenue to creators, mainly because we are, not having to pay 30% to 30% to the app stores, which of course these other platforms basically have to do. So, yeah. Is it possible to import externally, create assets, write and manage code externally? So let me answer these questions. Where is the game logic executed? Mostly server-side split, depending on the game type. Okay, so I'll do these one at a time. While I'm getting killed, maybe I'll give you an overview of how other people are doing while I answer these questions. I've got out the map. Yeah, let me just do this. This is going to be cool. Oh yeah, first place. Ari's owning everybody in this game. I see how people are just killing me while I'm stationary doing a presentation. That's very kind. Thanks a lot. Okay, so is it possible to import externally created assets and write and manage code externally? So we don't do that right now. I think the main thing is we feel like if we start, focusing on importing assets, then the tools that we have, there won't be any pressure on them to get better. And we think a huge part of the value here is that everything that you need to build a game is just right here. There's no, two-tier system. And I think, we want to make sure that our tools are great, and then maybe in the future we'll do import. But yeah, that's the primary thing is to get everything to be awesome. And I know for sure, like if we had magic a voxel import or something like that, people just wouldn't use our voxel editor, or at the very minimum, there'd be a huge gap between like experts and people, kind of the average user. So we want to keep pushing on that to make sure that it isn't like, it's really true that everything that you see in .Big Bang was built in .Big Bang. I think that's a powerful statement. In terms of managing code externally, one thing that we're doing this year is we're doing versioning. We already keep all versions of everything, but being able to like write in the game editor, just go through every version of every asset and have it instantly load in place. Being able to, preview all of the new things that people have changed in your game instantly. I think having that close integration is really cool. So, while I think at some point in the future, we could definitely, for example, do a VS Code plugin so that you could like log in with your .Big Bang account and then do everything in VS Code. I think that's fine. But again, I think if we don't continue to push on making our tools excellent, then there'll just be a two-tier system where people don't really use the built-in tools, and everyone's just doing it in GitHub or they're doing it in VS Code. So yeah, and like that's what we do ourselves. Like every game that we build, we're building using these tools, so we're seeing the pain every day. Where are we? How am I doing for time? I'm kind of halfway through, am I? No. Yeah, somewhere. And then the last question was the game logic executed? Yeah, so it's a very flexible system. You can choose where the game logic is executed. By default, code runs everywhere. So you can do things like, we have synchronized server time. So you can use server time to animate a bunch of stuff very cheaply. You can get very low latency by having peer authoritative stuff. You can set it up so it's server authoritative. But yeah, it's a very flexible ownership-based network model. And that's completely under the control of script. Can the resulting game be exported, or is everything limited to your platform? Well, I wouldn't say it was a limit, but yeah. So far, the stuff is on the platform. And the goal over time is to build something like YouTube, where there's a huge audience of people, and that you have a good chance of promoting it. You can do anything you want with the game. So say that you wanted to like put it on itch.io, you can do that. There's nothing preventing you from doing that today. We have looked at building apps like Electron apps and exporting. I think in the future, we're going to try and do two things. Well, we're going to do a few things. One is we're going to provide 3D model export, so Vox export, Obj export, and then level export, so you can take the whole game level and export it. We have an Obj exporter. I don't know if that's the right format, but a format that you could use, maybe what is it? GLTS. Anyway, there's a new kind of format that people use. Yeah, GLTF. Yeah, so one of these formats anyway, that where you can get the objects to be separately transformed, and then you can take it into Blender or you can take it into Unity or something. I don't think there's any reason why we can't productize those things and help people. Okay, somebody's made it go completely black now. Maybe we need to reset. Let me go back. There you go. So GLTF, yeah. So I think, object export, Vox export, level export, like taking all of the code out. I think all of that makes total sense. And then one thing that we have talked about, but it's more speculative just because it's further away from the main thing that we're doing. But I don't see why there's any reason why we couldn't let people make single player games using the engine. So, you can take the skills that you've gained and use those to make something, and then have that be an export. And then lastly, we've talked about white labeling the platform. So say that somebody made a game and it got really big, but they were thinking to themselves, hey, like, I don't really want to be on Big Bang anymore. I want to do my own thing. Well, if you look at projects like Hightail, and lots of other projects that are kind of on, big games that are on Roblox right now, they're kind of stuck. What we would prefer to do is give people the opportunity to like have their own website and have their own brand, and then we'll kind of run the back end seamlessly for that. So yeah, that's the path that we see to, people being able to not be, to use the skills that they've gained making stuff in Big Bang to be able to do their own thing, rather than, for example, Hightail. Those guys Hypixel team made some of the biggest Minecraft servers, and now they kind of just started again from scratch, building stuff in Unity. I don't know if it's Unity actually, maybe their own engine, but it's been like 6 years now, and that's not. I'm not casting any aspersions at all. Making games is really hard. But I prefer that people didn't have to do that, which is an answer. But yeah, in terms of just exporting the games, most of our games are multiplayer. So like one of the big points for the platform is that there's no setup. Like I just came and made a multiplayer game and didn't do anything at all. So yeah. How do you learn to make games using Big Bang? That's a great question. Let's visit the YouTube channel. Let me try and put this over here. I don't know what Discord is sharing now. Is it sharing the window or the tab? Let me see. Oh, it's sharing the docs. Okay, I get it. So it's good. Is this right? Yes. I typed in YouTube into Google because I'm a genius. This is the level of intelligence we're going for. Okay. So we've got a little playlist here. Where's the intro to magic? Oh man, ads. Sorry about that. Here we go. I do actually have an ad-free YouTube account, so I don't know why I'm showing you ads. Okay, so I pasted in the Meetup text. This is the like intro to magic thing that we've got. So it's like a little tutorial game that has everything in it. I'll give you a quick tour of that here. If you click, so I'll do that slowly. If you go to the front page, and if you have an account, you can click Build Worlds. In Build Worlds, there's this Intro to Magic tutorial. And if you click that, you get your own version of this game. And we have a little helpful, I don't know what this is, a cat on a spaceship. What I don't know what it is. It's a purple alien sentient cat. And we can kind of get a little intro text, and then we can go through here. And so now we've got like sine wave motion, and then on each of these things, it has an example. So it's trying to kind of show in place, how these things work. So here's the code. The code is all commented. So you can go through here and look at it, and then you can remix these scripts and make your own version. Each room has a different theme. Is the cat going to let me through the door? Yes, it is. So here we've got like the collision part. These are ghosts. So obviously everybody knows ghosts don't have any collision. This is on collision enter. So this happens when you touch it. On collision stay. So yeah, all of the different aspects of the engine are pretty much everything is in here. This is the event system. So you can see these frogs doing cool stuff. Yeah, so this is, I think we can probably do like more fun tutorials or whatever, but this is a pretty straightforward example of how everything works. I think, is this the UI room? See how tags work? Yeah, I don't know. You haven't signed into YouTube, that's why ads. I have two YouTube accounts. I have the main Big Bang one, and then I have my own one, and my own one has YouTube Premium from when I worked at Google. So I get an amazing deal on it. So I'm not paying for it on my main account. Maybe I'm just cheap. Okay. And this is the last room where you can make your own stuff. And again, like this is just a game level, so just like before, we can jump out of the character, and everything we just did is in here. And you can look at like the script for the cat even and see how that cat works. Yeah, so that is the answer to exporting could be monetized, a premium feature. Yeah. So I think exporting could be monetized. I think that the whole thought there is like how does that function, right? Like if games people are building a primarily multiplayer, like that's one of the key things that people do. Then if you export it, like what runs the multiplayer? And if the answer is our platform, then you're kind of tied to it anyway. So it seems like it seems like what you're doing is taking out the cool part, which is you can just click a link and send it to somebody, and you're still kind of tied to it. For single player games, I can see that for sure. And to be honest, for single player games, I'd rather just give it away for free, because I don't think that I don't really like charging people. I don't like gating access to that type of thing. And I think, people can be having fun, and we can, make a good business out of the other parts. So, okay. And then in terms of like how you learn to do Big Bang stuff, we have a much more in-depth scripting and tutorial thing somewhere here. I think I made this playlist. Let me try that. More ads. Yeah. So this little playlist has the promo video, so you can skip that, and then it has this intro to magic video, and then it has a much more in-depth scripting tutorial. You bring this back.
Maybe I can stop you for a moment because
sure.
we have it's like 35. But actually, I have like 3 really quick questions. I think a lot of people would like to have answers to them, and then we can move on to some other things. So like these are like 2-word answer questions really. So for example, how exactly are things structured here? Do you have like an object component based system like in Unity?
Yeah,
can you write scripts?
That's basically it. Yeah, so every script has a bunch of components. What I'll show you is this is our old UI. And so if I show you like the player character, you can see that the player has like a bunch of components on it, and it has a bunch of scripts on it, and it's basically just like I think very similar to Unity. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So next question would be, say, like you were explaining that you like that when people they get their some skills on working working on games and using this service, and then they can move on to another game engine like Unity or Unreal or something. I guess my question is, what would be the most similar game engine that they could jump over to if they wanted to advance to something else?
Yeah, I think in terms of structure, the Unity is very similar. But Meetup public where we can just talk. Yeah, I can chat afterwards for a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, so the structure is very similar to Unity. I mean, in some ways, .Big Bang is kind of weird in the way that it works because of all the multiplayer editing and stuff. But I think if you could build a game in .Big Bang and be confident, you could go and build a game in Unity. I think some of the things like the event system are a little bit different, but I think you'd do fine.
Awesome.
Also, TypeScript, which is the main language in .Big Bang, the architect of that language is also the architect of C#. So I think there's kind of some similar ideas there.
Interesting. That sounds awesome. And so how much of the visual stuff can you modify? Can you write shaders or edit material properties? Are there any plans to do something like that in the future?
Yeah, you can't do that right now. I think the way that we think about this stuff is it's really focused on the gameplay parts and having things be simple voxels kind of removes a lot of that complexity. But certainly in the future, we're going to have materials, and we're just about to start rewriting the renderer. So the renderer is very simple right now and very kind of uniform. But yeah, we want to give people as much flexibility as possible in the future.
Right. Oh yeah, one more quick question. Just last one. Can you edit can multiple people edit some kind of object? Can there be multiple people modifying a script file?
So right now the only thing that you can multiply edit is this game, but as part of what we're doing with the next stage of editing, all of the resources that are currently individually edited will be multiply edited. So scripts, voxel objects, all of these things. We have a terrain system that we're building. All of these things will become editable. So yeah, that's coming soon.
So you'll be able to see a cursor in the text editor moving around.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you so much. This is a really, really awesome presentation. I didn't really hear about this before, but it looks really cool, and I'll be glad to play it around with it. So yeah, thank you so much. And I think we can move on to our next speaker, Ari, who is an Unreal Engine I can't speak today. Evangelist.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll let him speak, and I'm gonna shut up.
Thank you. Let me also share my screen. Let me see. Screen. And I guess I should turn on my sound. Sound may not be available. Okay, well, you're going to have to tell me if the sound comes through or not, because if it doesn't, I'm just going to skip the videos. That's fine. So I did a little bit of last minute. Are you hearing the ding dongs, by the way, on the stream? Because that means it was working. That would be good. Anyways, I did say before that I would do a presentation called an Introduction to Unreal Engine and Epic Games. And what you're seeing now on the screen is something called the Epic Way. This is a different presentation. I decided last minute to change because the presentation I was going to do is 45 minutes, and then I just remembered, oh wait, this is supposed to be 30 minutes with Q&A. And this actually has a lot of the same thing, just with less filler. So I think it's just going to be just good, also because I really like doing Q&A. So this means we have more Q&A, and then I can answer all your questions. I think let's just start. So who am I? Hi everyone, I'm Ari. I am an Unreal Engine evangelist at Epic Games. I often get the question, what does an evangelist do? And well, as evangelist, we are basically the face of the company in our respective regions. So we try to be the point of contact for indies and any studios or anyone that has questions. If they have any questions when it comes to Epic Games, Unreal Engine, Epic Games Store, Maker Grants, whatever, you can ask me. Unless if it has anything to do with Fortnite, then I'm not the person to contact. I am focusing on Northern Europe. That means the Baltics. So hi, Nordics also, and actually, and also when I can, I'll handle St. Petersburg. I'm a game programmer by trade. I've been programming for 20 years. I've been programming games for 15 years. So if you have any technical questions, then I love talking tech. I am Icelandic, but I live in Finland, so I'm based in Helsinki now. And most of my learnings from Unreal Engine, because I haven't been actually using it that much, only a few years. I write all of them down, and my presentations, I put it all on my website, audit.games. So actually, if you're getting started with Unreal Engine, I do recommend to check it out. My favorite presentation there to recommend to people is called Lessons Learned from a Year of Unreal Engine 4 AAA Development. And that was actually from when I was a lead programmer on Returnal, and I was just learning Unreal Engine there. So yeah, a little bit also about which companies I've been at. I've been making like social games on Facebook. I've been making mobile games at Rovio, so makers of Angry Birds. I was there for 4.5 years. And the last thing I did before joining Epic Games was that I was a lead programmer at Housemarque on Returnal for PS5. So if you have any questions regarding like development on Returnal during the Q&A, like go ahead. Maybe we can save that for the Meetup public. I'm more of an open book there, but we can keep the questions more related to like Epic Games and Unreal Engine. So Epic Games, what is our vision? So we are striving for an open and connected ecosystem. So so you can bring in assets from other software. We're not trying to like do too much of inventing our own stuff. It is made by creators. We are creators ourselves and for creators. So we are dog fooding ourselves. We ourselves use the engine. We are creators. And I really love our revenue model. Basically, we only succeed when you succeed. That's it. That's what we strive for. And that's my mission as an evangelist. I want you to succeed. That's my only point. And then, of course, with Unreal Engine, we are striving for unparalleled quality and fidelity. So what does Epic Games do? We have our two biggest arms are the licensing and publishing. It all centers around Unreal Engine. So with Unreal Engine, we make games. With the publishing, you might have heard of these games like Fortnite, Gears of War, Unreal Tournament. And then we take the technology, Unreal Engine, that we use to make these games, and we license it out. And that can be for games or non-games alike. And now, if I had been doing the full presentation, I would have spent like 20 minutes of going through all the different industries. But I think we should try to keep this more to the point and short. So yes, one open ecosystem for people to create, publish, and operate interactive experiences. On the right side, we have the online services, and that's the services we offer for anyone. And you can use these online services. I'll get a little bit more into them later. And that's for any engine and any store. Then we publish on the Epic Games Store, and that means you can put games on it using any engine and using any service. So you don't have to be using our online services. You can be using something else. And then lastly, we develop Unreal Engine. And that allows you to create games that you can publish on any store using any online service. Unreal Engine, of course, I'm guessing you've at least heard of it. We try to make it come with everything that you need to create games out of the box. So, like it says there in the text, it comes with everything you need to build and ship successful multi-platform games and location-based entertainment with all tools and features included out of the box. So we have, it's not, I wouldn't say open source, but you have access to the source code, which helps a lot when you're trying to figure out why something is happening in the engine. So, and also if you don't like how something is done or you find a bug, you can just fix it yourself. And then also we have a blueprint visual scripting at your fingertips, which allows you to prototype super fast. You don't have to touch code if you don't want to. But I would say the best games are the ones who manage to take best advantage of both of these. Or let's not say best games, the best processes. And here are just some examples of some games. Returnal, of course, is on there because I was a lead programmer on that, so I like mentioning it whenever I can. Fortnite, Kina, The Pathless, Hellblade, anything. So about our revenue model, the first 1 million that you make using Unreal Engine are completely free. You don't have to pay anything. And this is per title. So if you make 10 games and all of them make almost 1 million, you don't owe us anything. And it's only after the first million that we even start counting the revenue, the royalties. So if you make $1,000,001, you owe us only 5 cents. So this is where the whole "we only succeed when you succeed" comes from. If you don't make at least 1,000,000, we don't gain anything. So it's in our best interest that you make lots and lots of millions. So that's what we're trying to help you do. And speaking of that, this is for off-the-shelf products. So something that you sell units to people, whether that's online or in a store. And some people might ask, like, what if I'm making a movie in Unreal Engine, or I'm doing a live show, virtual production? Then it's free, period. No royalties. So yeah, quite generous, quite nice. I really like our royalty terms. It's like this engine sells itself. I barely have to do my job. So we are now getting really close to the launch of Unreal Engine 5. So here's a small teaser of some of the biggest features in that. Of course, you might have heard of Nanite and Lumen. If not, I'll explain a little bit now. So Nanite, that's our virtualized geometry. And what we're striving for is like film quality assets with up to billions of triangles. Basically, this means that you don't really have budget on the polygon counts anymore, and you don't even have to have normal maps, because normal maps are for faking details. But what if you don't even have to fake details? You can just have all the details that you want. So what Nanite does is that it streams in the parts of the meshes that are visible, depending on how close they are, live. This is really taking advantage of next-gen platforms, because they have a really fast SSDs. But even then, it's not really, like, the amount of data that is streaming in is quite low. It's a few megabytes per second, which even like non-next-gen hardware can take care of. So like if you're running a PC still with old disk drive, it should still work just fine. Having said that, though, it is using some features that I think only next-gen consoles will be able to take advantage of. That means you don't have to think about level of details anymore. You don't have to think about, like, what you just do is that you take the mesh that you want and you just throw it into Unreal Engine and it just works. And it should also cut down loading times, because when you're loading in a level, you're no longer loading in all the meshes. You're just loading in like the absolute roughest meshes, like the equivalent of a texture's lowest MIP. And then we stream in the rest. So faster loading times, better graphics and quality, and basically unlimited polygon budgets. I say basically because you still don't want to fill the user's hard drive. And then we have Lumen, which is a fully dynamic real-time global illumination. And for the ones of you who aren't sure what global illumination mean, it is when light comes from some source, hits a surface, and then illuminates the rest of the room, like from indirect bouncing lights. So for example, if I go to this video and just pause it here, this cave only has the skylight coming in here as the only light source. All this other light around the cave is being lit up by the light hitting the ground. So this is amazing. So that is now built in, and you don't have to do like light baking for like hours at a time for your complex scenes. It's just, you don't even have to have any static lights. You can just make it all dynamic. Yeah, and then we have virtual textures, and that allows you to load parts of texture depending on how close it is to the camera. Really nice. Also allows you to do virtual runtime shadow maps. Can't remember if that's the order of the words. And then we have spatialized audio, which allows you to have really realistic 3D sound fields and to increase immersion. And also I'm going to talk a little bit about Epic Games Store. So all engines are welcome, whether it's Unreal, Unity, CryEngine, or whatever. We don't put any limits on that. And I think we're being quite generous with the revenue split. We realized that a store does not need 30% of all games revenue to be profitable. We found out that by using 12%, that gives us enough money to run the store and extra money to be able to continue working on its like services. So if you make anything on the Epic Games Store, yes, you get to keep 88% of the profits. And if you release an Unreal Engine game on the Epic Games Store, you don't even have to pay the 5% royalties. That's just counted into the 12. So if you're making an Unreal game, for example, in the Steam store, you'd have to pay the 30% that Steam or the other stores take, and then the 5% of Unreal on top of that. But with the Epic Games Store, it's just 12. There's no plus 5. The plus 5 just disappears. Next, I'm going to show you a cool little feature trailer. I hope you could hear the sound, but if not, no worries. It was just mostly music. So actually, let me check the chat, see if anyone is commenting, if they can hear the sound or not. Can you hear it in the Meetup text? Okay, that's fine. You don't need the sound. That's fine. I can just next time sing the sound. Anyways, you heard right. No, you saw right during the trailer. Free voice comms for everyone. That means that it doesn't matter which engine you're on, doesn't matter which store, doesn't matter which platform. You can get free voice comms into your game. So the voice comms is part of our Epic Online Services, and Epic Online Services has a lot of things. So we have multiplayer, anything you need for multiplayer. We have matchmaking, lobbies. We have the peer-to-peer tunneling, so you don't need to have your own servers to do that. Voice and leaderboards. And then we have progression, like account linking, player data storage, stats and achievements. That's all built in. Moderation. We just made our anti-cheat engine available also for free for anyone. Player reports and player sanctions, moderation tools that you can use. And the operations, like title storage, game analytics, player ticketing. And lastly, identity and social. So like profile account linking, so people can have an Epic Games account connected with their Steam account, with their PlayStation account, and they can play together with all their friends, no matter which platform they're on. And again, any engine, any store, any platform, and it is free. And you can get started right now at dev.epicgames.com. This is quite new, and this is everything that we have been using for Fortnite, and we just decided, you know what, let's just allow everyone else to use it. So people often ask me, like, Ari, why is Epic giving all of this away for free? Will they sometimes realize that, it's not making us any money, let's just scrap it? It's not going to happen. Because if you think about it from a practical point of view, if someone wants to release a game on PlayStation, they have the PlayStation Online Services to use. So PlayStation offers that, but it doesn't work on any other platforms. If you're going to release a game on Steam, you have the Steam Online Services, which has the same like peer-to-peer and stuff like that, but it only works for Steam games. So you have the Epic Games Store, and we have a requirement if you're going to ship a multiplayer game on the Epic Games Store, and that is it has to be cross-play. But that's the only requirement we have. So you have to be able to play with people on other platforms. It doesn't have to be, I'm not sure if it has to be consoles, but at least like other PC platforms. So it would be quite horrible of us to make that a requirement and not offer it in our own online services. So we have these online services that works for Epic Games Store, but it works for everything else also. Actually, it works for everything else so much that you don't even have to release your game on the Epic Games Store. But if you ever do decide to release your game on another store and use our online services, if you ever want to come to Epic Games Store, you've already filled all the conditions, like you're crossplay already. So yeah, it's not going anywhere. And this is not something that is so new that it hasn't been tested. Like it has been battle tested on over 100 leading titles, including our own games here at Epic Games. And I made these slides at the beginning of last year, So by now, this number must have at least doubled. I'm just going to assume that. I'm not going to promise that. I'm just assuming that. I have a video next about Metahuman Creator. You're not going to hear it. Let's see how it goes. Maybe I can talk into it. I'll just skip it if I don't think you're getting anything out of it. You're not going to get anything out of it without sound. So we have the service with Metahuman. As you can see, it looks very realistic. See, it's fully rigged. They have rigs that work with all the different models and fully rigged. Did I say that already? You know what? Let's just go to the next slide. So yes, we have Metahuman Creator, and that is an online tool that works in the browser. So you just go to metahuman.unrealengine.com or epicgames.com. I can't remember. But if you Google Metahuman Creator, you'll just go right there. It's one of those two links. And that's basically a character creator, like something that you would use in an RPG game, except that you can export that directly to Unreal Engine. And they come with this, what we were calling the Metahuman skeleton. And you can already, in Unreal Engine, start rigging it and animating it using Control Rig. So you don't even have to use a external animation tool. And we also have an app on the App Store that is called LiveLink Face. And that allows you to have full facial motion capture just using your iPhone and for free. And it just works out of the box. And like, imagine being able to, like, for a small like demo or like a school project or like even doing your own indie game or just anything, being able to just download the realistic looking human, fully rigged, animating it, and then using facial motion capture, and it just all comes out of the box. The app does not exist yet for Android, but we're working on it. Yeah, I think that's it about this slide. I'm gonna let the next video run. You don't need the music. It's just music. But it looks really cool. Okay, someone did say something. Okay, so I'll get into the questions later. So what is the Quicksole and Megascans and everything like that? Well, what we're basically trying to do is that we are capturing the world so that you can create your own world. So we have Quicksole Megascans, Quicksole Bridge, and Quicksole Mixer, and together these form a complete ecosystem for producing high-quality 3D content faster than ever before. And so it is, in a nutshell, a photogrammetry, both textures and objects. So you can, for example, well, what we do is that we send our team all around the world, take pictures, high-resolution pictures of textures and buildings and objects, rocks, trees, whatever. And then they feed it into our own software called Reality Capture, which we actually have licensed out. So you can also you can create these models yourself. You can go to capturingreality.com, something like that, and take lots of pictures of some object that you want a 3D model of and just feed them in there. I think after we purchased them, the price got reduced by a lot. It's like a fraction of what it used to cost. So it's like now anyone can do it. And then you can just import them into Unreal Engine. And now using Nanite, you don't even have to like do any extra work on it. So that's Megascans, and the textures are also tileable. And then we have Bridge, which is our content management system that allows you to browse and download them and export them to different programs or just straight to Unreal Engine if you want. And then lastly, we have Mixer, and I'm actually going to go back to that video because I need to show you like what Mixer allows you. So Mixer allows you to do these. You can take 3D objects from Megascans, and you can do these smart materials. Like, for example, show me all, or like mask all the normals that excludes or only includes crevices, and then you can add like kind of wear and tear or different painting on it. And it also allows you to 3D paint. Where was that? Does this video not have? Also, one lie, because this is an old video, it said over 12,000 assets. Last I checked, it was over 16,000 assets. So we added many thousands of assets just in the last year. Here we go, and 3D painting. And so you can take a 3D object straight out of Megascans, and in Mixer you can like just start mixing materials together. Yes. Oh yeah, this is the last slide actually. So we have Mega Grants also, because we realized that if only successful projects have any chance of giving us that revenue, why not just help the indie companies and stuff? So we have epic mega grants, make amazing things. We have $100 million in grants to fund all kinds of creative and technological work. This is not only for games. Actually, games is just one part of the pie that we give. We give to educational institutions, to tools and everything. Actually, the biggest grant we gave, I think, has been for Blender, because we were like, this is such a no-brainer. Everyone benefits from Blender getting money. It's like 3D, free open source 3D software that anyone can make 3D models, and then we'll also use them in Unreal Engine. Even though we call it mega grants, I just want to clarify that the grants themselves, I wouldn't call them mega. It's like few tens of thousands that usually games would get. Projects that are more likely to get higher amounts than a few tens of thousands would be tools that really benefit more than just the ones receiving the money. So if it benefits the 3D making community itself, then there's way more chance of you getting a mega grant. But anyone can apply for it. If you're making something cool, then why not apply for them? And if just to give you a little bit of like what kind of projects get funded, they have to be viable. So if you're trying to apply for a mega grant saying I have a game idea, that's not going to go anywhere. If you have a mega grant application that says we need this mega grant, otherwise we are gonna go bankrupt and we won't be able to do it, that doesn't sound very viable. It doesn't sound like it's going to be successful if it's hinging on this like small grant. That's also not going to have the greatest chance of getting. So it's not about fully funding your project, but it's about adding a little bit of extra wind under the wings of the ones who are already kind of flying, if that makes sense. And yeah, like, so we give amounts like up to $25,000, which is like kind of what I would call easier to get, where you don't really have to explain too much what you're doing. And then if you try to go over that, then it's a bit more like, okay, well, now we have to really start telling us how is this amount of money really going to help you, explain yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna take a lot of questions soon, and then we'll also see you in the chat afterwards, where I'll be up for chatting about anything like game related and my previous games, looking at Angry Birds or like something. So you guys are in my region. This is the Baltics. So if you are making something Unreal, whether that's a game or a movie or virtual production, and you want to be in contact, then well, you have my Discord. It's right here. I'm on the server, and I'm also quite like I'm very easy to contact. If you Google me and like try to contact me on like Twitter or LinkedIn, like on Twitter, my DMs are open. On LinkedIn, if I see you're from Northern Europe, I'll just automatically accept it. If you're not, then at least send me a message why you're trying to connect. And lastly, that's my email address. It's ari.arnbjörnsson@epicgames.com. Yeah, let's stay in contact.
All right. Thanks, Ari. This is a really awesome presentation. I'm going to read you some of the questions that people have been asking while you were presenting. So first question comes from Edgar. He's asking in Latvian, but oh yeah, it's in English. So I'm interested in consoles. Ari, can you tell us when it will be possible to export to PS5 and Xbox Series from Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, it's already. Oh, for Unreal Engine 5, did you say, or just from Unreal Engine?
Unreal Engine 5.
Okay, well, as soon as it comes out, which should be like very soon, we said it would happen in the first half of this year, and I can't tell you exactly when, but it is soon. We're talking. Well, I'm not even gonna give you a rate. It's soon, but when it comes out, you should be able already to export the code. Like we've already been exporting our demos to Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5. And this is still mostly the same engine. Like we have a lot of new features. We've done a UI overhaul, but like foundationally, this is still Unreal Engine. So I would say you like probably if you even download from Git. I'm not going to promise anything, but I would be surprised if you could not already export to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series.
And you can already export for PlayStation 4 and Xbox.
I mean that's already in Unreal Engine 4, so like we're not removing anything when it comes to that.
Yeah, there was just one question about that. That's what I'm just making sure.
Yeah. So we have the features like Nanite and Lumen. Those only work on the next gen, like PS5 and Xbox Series. But the thing is, those are just a check mark to disable, and now you still have all the older workflows of using LODs and static lighting. And usually when you are like making a game that's cross-platform, you're gonna have to do those things anyways. Like even if you want to use Lumen only on next gen, then you would turn it on only for next gen, and then for previous gen you would turn those off.
I didn't think about this earlier, but doesn't that mean like Unreal Engine 5 is more like a rebrand for Unreal Engine?
It is a rebrand for sure, but it's just we also took the chance to because we're doing so many new things. Like a lot of systems are getting completely revamped. We're talking like game feature plugins. We're talking about the animation pipeline, Nanite and Lumen, the new input plugin, everything. And we also took the chance, because we're like now incrementing a major version, to just deprecate a lot of old stuff. So that's like if that's not a reason to like rebrand, I don't know what is.
All right, let's go to next question. Does Lumen support only single global light source only, or does it like include additional dynamic light sources?
Hundreds, if you want.
All right.
So more than one for sure. I think during the trying to remember how many we had in the Matrix demo, but there was more than one. Yeah.
Actually, I remember now the Valley demo had a like this magic power light, and you can like go through this cave temple thing, and we actually had dynamic light there.
Do take into account that when I say hundreds, I'm not saying you'll have great frame rate.
Yeah.
Just like it's not going to break. Yes, it is possible.
You can use Epic. You can use Epic online services with any engine, but do you have any ready-to-use integrations for most popular engines, either made by Epic or third-party?
It's actually a really funny question because there is a plugin for Unity for Unreal for Epic Online Services made by Epic Games. So yeah, we have plugins in 4.27. We released a binary plugin for the editor in Unreal Engine, and Unity should already have a plugin for using the online services within Unity. Yeah. Awesome. And also we give out the C source code for the whole thing, and also we have C# bindings. So that already, like most engines should be able to take advantage of it, because most engines can either import C or they can use the C# bindings.
On that, I have a question for myself. I haven't checked. Maybe this is a moot question. But can you write scripts in C# for Unreal Engine 5, or are there like plugins for that?
Not by us. I think there's a community plugin that allows you to use C#. But we do support Python. That's mostly for automation. But I would still recommend that you use blueprints, because that's how you would get the most out of the engine.
Okay. I'm taking some time because these questions aren't like laid out in a list. I'm just literally looking through the Discord channel here.
I reserved the whole evening for this. No worries.
So, will Nena decrease the game size to half terabyte?
So, not necessarily. Of course, if you do nothing but import like humongous assets, like in any game, that's going to make it big. But when you import Nanite, it will also optimize it quite a bit. It will reduce a lot of like the super micro quality that it decides like this is so rough you're never even going to see it. So it does like alter your mesh a bit. But to answer your question as plainly and technical as I can, if you put many terabytes of data in your game is going to be many terabytes of data big.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, more questions. Question from Seryish. Is there any way to get help or consultation for Unreal Engine?
Like, if you want just like a quick call with me, that's what I do. I'm in touch with the community. I try to help them any way I can. I always try to recommend people also try to get help from the community. So we have some like we have our own Unreal Engine forums. We have our own Unreal Engine Q&A, which is basically like Stack Overflow, but only for Unreal Engine topics. It's on our website. And we also have a Discord server called Unreal Slackers. You can just Google Unreal Slackers and you'll see it. It's the biggest Unreal Engine community anywhere, really. And usually those are really much up for helping you. If you want, however, technical support directly from Epic, we do offer it as a service, but it's not free. You usually have to pay for it. So we offer it as a part of custom licensing. So, for example, if you think, hey, I'm expecting to make more than a couple of million with this game because I already have a publisher, then a custom licensing would make perfect sense for you because you're basically paying less because the revenue we take will be lowered, and you get access to what we call UDN, the Unreal Developer Network, and that is also like a question and answer, but only answered by our engineers. So yeah, there are options, but for free, well, I'm your only hope in the Baltics if you want some free advice. But I would also again suggest really involve the community, because if you learn something together, then the rest of the community learns also.
Here's a fun one. Is Unreal Engine suitable for mobile games?
I mean, Fortnite is playable on mobile, so yeah, definitely. Like,
And,
that's something we're dogfooding a lot, because Fortnite needs to run on the most amount of devices for people to be able to play it, and yeah, it plays quite well. So to answer your question, yes, Unreal Engine does run on mobile. We have a lot of actually like we have MOBAs and MMO games, like especially from like, for example, Korea and Asia, the rest of Asia, which look amazing, and they're made in Unreal. So yeah.
So here's another one. If you have time, can you, Ari, talk a bit about your personal experience? Why did you decide to work on this, and what is your vision in the coming years?
Why did I decide to work at Epic Games, you mean, instead of, for example, making games?
Oh, that's a question.
Yeah, well, it's a personal question, but I love talking about myself. I'm one of my favorite topics. So as I was, while I've been in the game industry, I've always been a lot about knowledge sharing and community building. So actually, before I was at Epic Games, I was doing the Unity meetups here in Helsinki. And then when I started working at Housemarque and I started doing Unreal Engine work, I decided, you know what, there's no Unreal meetups about. I'll start doing Unreal meetups also. So then the same guy was doing both the Unity and the Unreal meetups. And then I decided not to stretch myself too thin, so I got a friend to take over the Unity meetups while I kept doing the Unreal meetups. Then COVID hit. And finally, when Returnal went gold, Epic Games asked me, like, hey, Ari, like, you're doing a lot of this community stuff for free for us. Wouldn't you rather do that full-time and we just pay you? And I'm like, sure. So here I am. It's always nice when someone pays you for something that you would have done for free anyways.
Okay. Janis says that he's doing Godot meetups now. I guess nobody's gonna offer him money, but we'll see. Any more questions, guys? Anyone? Maybe there's questions on YouTube.
Yeah, check it out.
Is there any for consultation? No, wait, those questions actually came from YouTube. Okay. Someone's writing. Let's wait a little bit so to finish writing. Maybe someone has a question.
If I come again for another one, I have already a program that allows me to forward my desktop audio to my mic input, so I'll be ready next time.
Okay, actually, in the meantime, I guess I can ask a really weird question. I guess I remember reading a forum post on Epic Games forums where someone asked if since Unreal Engine 4 is open source, and before Unreal Engine 4, Unreal Engine wasn't really open source before that. Someone asked if they would ever have like any plans of open sourcing like previous versions of Unreal Engine, and then Tim Sweeney actually came over and he said that it might be possible for Unreal Engine 1, but they would have to like clean it up or something. I was just wondering, like, I know that you can't really, you probably don't even know about like the technical stuff here about like such an old engine, but like, what is your opinion about that? Would you, what would be the legalities of that, and how would you look at that if they
the
decided?
legalities are easy because it's like, well, oh yeah, do you mean like if it would fully open source it?
Yeah.
That's just all up to Tim. Like if he wants to do it, he'll do it. That's where the ball ends.
Do you ever like talk to him
I
about
never
anything?
talked to him. No, not really. It was like I don't. Well, he's doing the whole running a company. I don't have anything in common with him.
He's probably busy with like legal stuff right now.
Yeah. He's a busy guy, like fighting for developers and creating the next generation of Unreal Engine and the metaverse and everything. So he's a busy guy.
Yeah, I remember him saying that it would be very, very difficult for Unreal Engine 2 and 3 because they have like these third-party middleware,
Oh yeah.
things like audio plugins or video or whatever, and then Unreal Engine 1 was pretty much entirely his own thing.
But you know more about this than I do.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess nobody's asking questions after all. So I guess
all of you are welcome to ask me more questions when we go to the Meetup public channel. I love answering questions. I also encourage you to ask me about my industry experience, like working on Arya, how's it been working on Angry Birds and Returnal and everything, or transitioning to these kind of things. What were the biggest?
Jan said that you should feel free to drop any contacts in Discord if you want to. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for your time. It was a really awesome presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering the questions. Maybe we can get Tim with you next time.
Yeah. Let's hope for
it. Yeah, so I guess we can move on with the meetup, and I could ask Laura to come over and tell about some announcements for LC and other stuff.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Can you see me?
It's loading. Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, just a second. I will share my screen. Okay, now you'll be able to see the presentation as well. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, right. How do I launch it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so hello welcome everyone who is watching or rewatching Gamedev Meetup 105. This is announcements time. So the first thing is January has been a pretty good month for Latvian Game Developers Association since we have 2 new members. Hooray! Imaginary confetti! And in addition to that, we have a new board. Well, partially new board. Some of the people you might already know from the previous one. So there's me. There's, of course, Elvis Strasdinch. There's Jozef Rutkis doing awesome job. But the interesting part are 2 new people. So we have Simons Mikos. You probably know this guy if you have attended any game dev events in Baltics ever. And we also have Agate Ambold. She's here to help Latvian game dev scene to grow outside of the capital city of Latvia, Riga. So in addition to that, in January, just like the rest of the world, we had Global Game Jam. Now, because of the restrictions of the pandemic, we were forced to do it online. But despite that, we had 60 participants and 17 games made, which I believe are really good numbers. So great thanks to Madara Aboliņa and Jānis Skuja and everyone else who made this event a possibility. So this year is actually a breaking record for the amount of EU funding that is dedicated to games. So I do hope that maybe some of our studios or organizations will use this opportunity. There's a grant specifically for VR game developers that are cooperating with the film industry. There's a wider grant for game developer studios. There's actually several for games industry trade associations and event organizers. Then there's a specific one for games industry focused investment funds, which I believe we don't have in Latvia, so let's skip that one. But we do have games research focused universities dedicated fund. So who knows, maybe our University of Economics and Culture will apply. Now, in addition to that, there's a specific one for game developer studios and publishers collaborating with law enforcement agencies and several Erasmus Plus grants. If you want more information, you can follow the link. I really hope that Jānis will put the link in all the chats where he can. And do feel free to read up and maybe check out these grants. And if you wish to apply and you're from Latvia and you need help, don't hesitate to contact Latvian Game Developers Association. If we can help you, we will do our best. And at the end, I would, if you understand Latvian and you have 4 minutes to spare, I would invite you to also watch a short video by one of our members, Linda Stasdiņa. She made an overview of the January in Latvian Game Dev. It's pretty awesome, so do check it out. And that's all. Thank you so much for your attention. Follow us on social media. And yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you, Laura. So at the end of this meetup, we'll actually have something new. It's called Show and Tell, and we have a couple people, well, 4 to be more exact. They're gonna show what they've been working on in like 5-ish minutes. And yeah, so let's start with Jānis Skuja. He's gonna show something cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's gonna be something cool, but let's kick this off. I won't share my screen in the Discord because I'm streaming this live stream from my computer. I'm the technical guy, so yeah, victory, hi. My sound will work, yay. So let's talk about what I have been doing, let's say not January, but like I guess the past... but I don't know, a year maybe, or past 2 months or so. So let's start with BRSD, the local Latvian game developers contest. I'm gonna work on BRSD 11, the next one. You will hear about it starting March 1st. We're looking for sponsors and everything else. So yeah, if you have some information, contact me. So I've kind of been busy with that. So the next thing with game development stuff, I've also been busy with Global Game Jam, as Laura mentioned. I wasn't the site organizer this time. This time site organizer was Madara Abolin. She did an awesome job. And I also, well, I kind of managed to make something. I wouldn't call it a game, really. It's like a demo or like just a proof of concept for a text game in Godot, which I hope I will sometime in future like get back to. Well, basically, I set up an easy way in Godot to create an easy text-based dialogue game with a countdown, with the silence being as also like as an option. I tried to do this horror game, but I think I kind of failed because I was also busy with some real life stuff, a bit with organization, but mostly that was done with Mother. But yeah, mostly I was working on my real life stuff, so I didn't manage to create really a game. But you can just go on itch.io and try it out. The source code is available. The icons are not included in the source code because I took the icons from Gamedev icons.net and I can't just reshare it. I think I can reshare it, but I didn't want to. But if you want to download the thing, then just go to their site. Yeah, but the code is available. If you want to make a text game, just download the code and create your own text game in Godot. Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is .Big Bang. I've been experimenting with .Big Bang a bit. I've created some assets in their editor. Yeah. They have weekly art challenges. I've been doing those in their Voxel editor. This is a crab cart. Then this is a turtle tank. It's pretty fun, like just doing in the like some off hours, like just open the browser and just do it. And this is the chicken I did. It looks funny, but I'm proud of it. I'm no artist, but it's really cool. And at some point I will want to make I guess Twisted Metal type of a game in .Big Bang, like people driving around with cars, shooting each other, like with pickups and stuff. I have gotten this far. It's now like a Flintstone car. Yeah, so I'm actually very happy that Robert did speak today. I gained a lot of information. Some of it I didn't know before, so that's awesome. So that's a future project though. So a project that I will be working on during February is Twistwood. I did promise like an update for Twistwood. It's done in Core Engine, by the way. I did promise an update on Twistwood like at start of the February, but of course real life stuff got in the way. I was busy with other things. So I'm gonna do it at the end of the February. We're gonna publish an update at the end of the February to this awesome, massively multiplayer game that I'm doing in Core Engine. I think, yeah, so this is what I'm gonna be working on now. I'm gonna be working on BRSD 11, and sometime later down the line I'm gonna be working on these two projects because I want to turn this into a mobile game, a mobile story-driven text-based game, and I want to turn this into just something fun. It's really, .Big Bang is a fun engine. I highly suggest people try it out. So thank you. I hope I didn't overshoot the 5-minute mark. Yeah.
All right, looks awesome.
I'm gonna turn to that.
Thanks for sharing that. So next is, wait. Oh yeah, next is Elvis. Yeah, I'm gonna let you speak now.
Hi,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I'm old. I don't know how to use Discord. So what I've been doing is Global Game Jam, and I made a game there. And since then, I have also fixed some bugs. So can you maybe can you share your screen? Because I'm on iPad, I cannot do it.
I can
So
share it on the stream on the YouTube, but I can't share it on Discord simultaneously. So do you want me to navigate to your Global Game Jam game?
Yeah,
Okay.
just open fighthouse.io and hit play, and I will tell what I have been doing. Yeah, so since Global Game Jam, I have the timer. So if you don't press the attack button in time, then you time out and you lose. Then I fixed some bugs that if you press concede, then you both lose. Now the one who presses concede loses. So yeah, a little bit about the game. It's like rock, paper, scissors, but you win if you hit your opponent in the place where he didn't block, and you have to guess which one will the opponent block or hit. And then you switch turns, and the other one is attacking, and you see the health bar at the top. The one who runs out of health loses. So that's it, simple game, but we plan to improve it in the future with adding cards, or you can hit twice or hit twice as hard or block two places at the same time and so on. So yeah, that's it from me.
Yes, I won.
Yeah.
Right, this is really cool. I didn't expect you actually updating this game, but I'm glad to see that there's something new going on there.
Yeah, I fixed bugs and updated because if I put something online, I want it to be at least stable. There is still some bug. If both players at the same time exit the game, then the server crashes. So don't do that.
Nice. Okay, so the next speaker is Laura.
So hey, I'm back. Can you hear me again?
Yep.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Yeah, I didn't do a build, sorry. I'm going to show it in Unity. Can you see my Unity editor? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so as was several times mentioned before, I did also attend the Global Game Jam, except I didn't attend the Latvian one. I went to Parnu to participate on site, and I worked in a team of two. So there was me, and I was kind of responsible for the art, and there was also a developer who actually came to Estonia from America. His name is, I'm sorry if I butchered this, Sadish Gadimela, I'm sorry. And he actually had worked in Blizzard as well. So it was really, really interesting, a chance to meet during pandemic someone from so far away who had come over. So what we did during the game jam is that we made this game where it's a hyper casual game where you collect crystals. And let's hope Unity doesn't crash. Oh, Unity. Okay. Sorry about that. That's why you do builds. Okay. This is kind of...
That happens.
Yeah, especially with Unity. I mean, during development, the amount of times we had blue screens of death for Windows. Yeah. Well, we did have a presentation for Unreal Engine. Maybe that one is more stable than Unity. Yeah, that was not what I wanted to do for this presentation, opening Unity again. Sorry about that. Wow, it's going to take probably a lot of time. Okay, let me try again. And I'm going to hope it doesn't crash again. Okay, here we go. There's the game. So can you see the screen? Notice? Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Don't crash. Don't crash. Don't. Oh, okay, here we go. So you're this ball, and the world is procedurally generated, except the way the world generates is completely up to you. So you collect these crystals, and the green ones make the world safe and slower, but it also gives you less reward. And when you collect the red ones, it makes it more dangerous and faster. So it doesn't really work in the actual build right now, but there's some things that kind of work, like the generation. So yeah, that's pretty much how far we got during the jam. And another thing that, since, in a game jam, there's usually very little time, and I also realized I had left my tablet at home. I decided to make my art mockups right away in the engine, so in Unity. And I found some 3D models that on Unity Asset Store that I believe looked quite similar to what I wanted in the final product. And then I started to mess around and try to create this world. So I made these two quote-unquote mockups. Let me just switch between the aspect ratios. And I put together how it might look. So this is when you have been collecting only the green crystals. So this is this safe and nice world. And I also made another one, how it would look if you would be collecting a lot of red crystals. So this is also, this is the dangerous and the high reward. And yeah, that's pretty much what we did during Global Game Jam. We are actually working on the game, continuing to work on the game. So the idea is to make a hyper-casual mobile game out of it. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you.
All right, looks cool. Thank you. Next, Siemens isn't on site. He's not online, but we're going to show a little video of what he did.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it real quick. so. Hello everyone, my name is Siemens. There is a chance that I might not be able to join the stream, so this presentation is pre-recorded. If you have any questions or comments, the fastest way to reach me is on Twitter by writing to @negelpersonal. So, before I tell you what I have been up to, let me encourage you to participate in Show and Tell as well. Participate in Show and Tell regardless of how little you have to show or tell. In fact, the less you have to show and tell, the less chance there is that your presentation will be long and boring. The registration is closed 1 hour before the meetup, but I think no one will complain if you join during the free mic part. With that out of the way, let me tell you what I have been up to during the last month.
During the last month, I participated in Global Game Jam 2022, where I made a simple turn-based game called Moon Aria. That's all. See ya.
That was funny.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So that was all the speakers today. Yeah. So. Oh, that was me again. I opened YouTube. Anyway. So yeah. That's all the speakers, and I guess that's it for the meetup. But after this stream, anyone who wants to join us, you can go to Meetup Public. We can chat a bit, show some stuff, whatever. So yeah, I think bye. Yeah, Yari, you could take over. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, no problem. See you later. Bye.